All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I am recording, like I said, so hopefully we don't have any weird dog barking situations as we continue. But this will be a pretty brief workshop. Um, Hopefully those of you that are joining us are our partners. If not, we will have a new partner workshop next week. But those of you who have classes with us already, what I wanted to do is just talk through a simple way to build a roster. There are probably 25 different ways you could do this, but I wanted to talk you through probably the simplest way and then answer any questions that you might have about what we need and how to maybe lessen confusion because it is sort of a confusing process trying to get all of these students registered all at the same time. So, um, what we'll talk about today is just really the bulk registration process, which is this roster building process versus the ATA form, about adding students to the roster once they're accepted and what that means. Um, Also, using the student status report as your guide, and then confirming your course early, early turn in of rosters, so that we can get books together and get everything to arrive on time as the semester starts. So first, I want to talk about bulk registration versus the ATA form. So those of you who offer a class at your campus also might have students that take classes at our campus. And what you'll know already is that the difference is for the classes at your high school, you send us a roster. The class at Tri-C, they have to do an authorization to attend form. They have to see a counselor. They also have to register themselves and on their own. They also have to get books on their own. So the major difference here is that instead of individual student enrollment in counseling, we sort of bypass our process and we register students all at the same time. But some of those differences are our ATA form, for instance, we don't actually process that form till a student is accepted. It's not automated. With the roster, or it is automated. With the roster, it's not automated. So it's a manual process for our team to go through and check each student on the roster to make sure they're accepted. So that's why sometimes it can take a little bit more time. So today I just want to talk you through how we can make sure we're adding students to a roster once they're accepted instead of just students that are interested. And that will make your life a lot easier and ours. Um, and I know somebody's off mute, so if you can just check again and make sure you're muted since we're recording. So accepted students. So these are the students that should be on the roster. A student who has applied to the college, a student who has a transcript on file with their CCP coordinator, and then thirdly, a student who has a qualifying GPA or test score that meets state eligibility. So we will not deem a student accepted to the college until they have these three things or meet these three check marks, if you will. A pro tip that I like to offer to a lot of our counselors, and some of the high schools already do this, this is where I got the tip, is they actually make the students either email them or print out their acceptance letter. And then that's sort of their official, I guess, permission slip, if you will, to be added to the course roster. That way, you know, when that student is put on the roster, they're already accepted. And that process will go a lot smoother and a lot easier because you won't have to be going back and forth with us trying to decide if a person's eligible or if they're not. They won't have an acceptance letter unless they are eligible. So that's a tip that some of our high schools have used, and it works pretty well for them. So using the status report, this is also another way that you can ensure only students that have been accepted to College Credit Plus are added to the roster. So we have a status report that sends regularly. If you don't get that report or you want somebody at your high school to get that report, email me. And I'm going to give you my contact information at the end. We can simply add you. This is a report that sends regularly, and this is going to list the students that have applied to your school and have indicated your school or district as their home institution. So we do get questions a lot. Hey, I don't know this student. They don't attend my high school. Why are they on this report? For some reason, that student may have indicated your high school as being the one they attend. It could have been an error. They could have been moving to the district and then didn't. If that happens, just email us. And what we try to do is reach out to that student to find out what high school they are attending. But we don't want you to worry because that doesn't have our report doesn't have anything to do with state funding. You won't be charged for any courses the student is taking, but it can get confusing. So you can let us know. So the status report looks like this. This is just a snapshot and obviously a sample because you can see my information is here. So in column A, it's going to be your high school. In column B, it's the student's name. And then in C is their Tri-C ID number. So we assign them a Tri-C ID when they're admitted, and that's also what we use to register them with. So when we build the roster, it's super, super helpful if that Tri-C ID is there and or their SSID. But typically this S number is going to make the process so much more smooth because then we can locate the student. We don't always have their SSIDs, especially if you're a private school, because it comes from the funding letter. So this is critical to streamline the process. Their birthday is also on this report, the date their application was submitted. In column F, so if you were a school that says, hey, I have too many kids, I don't want everybody emailing me their acceptance letter. Well, in column F, if there's a Y there, that will tell you that the student has been accepted to the college. So they've received their acceptance materials, they're signed, sealed, delivered, they're good to go. And then in the next columns, it would tell you their English or math placement if they had one. So this report is great to use to build your roster. If you're good with Excel or no Excel, a great way to build your roster is literally to cut and paste from here. You could select a row, copy it, and then paste it into your roster. So on the next page, if you guys don't have this, we can send it to you. This is a roster template. This is just to give you an idea of what it could look like. If you want to switch this up a little bit, you can, if you have something that works better for you. But we have a roster template that we can send you if you don't have it on hand already. And if you have multiple classes going on, you can have different tabs of the spreadsheet, and you can simply list the student, their SSID, their birthday, and their Tri-C student number on this sheet. Or, like I said, you could just cut and paste straight from the status report, and we would take that. It would be just great. What we do ask that you do on the roster is you let us know what section the student will be going in. So we do have high schools, for instance, who might run 2 or 3 English 1010 classes. Well, we need to know what time that class is offered, or at least what CRN. If you don't know the CRN, the time can help us certainly. So that way we put students in the right section so their faculty member can access their grades, can access their Blackboard, all as a course. So knowing which tab or which section the student goes to is also a critical piece of roster building. So this is obviously a dream world, but like I said, I'm sort of putting all of the best practices in one presentation. The best thing to do is to confirm your courses for the next semester. Oh, and this is a typo, before they begin. So for instance, classes that we're going to be offering in spring at your high school, you should be confirming them now or already have them confirmed. If you have it, you can reach out to me and I can get you in touch with the academic dean, or you can reach out to your contact at the campus directly. But confirming those courses early is super important. We found that when people throw a course on super last minute, we have so many problems with student access and books and all of that stuff. So like I said, early course confirmation is key. Secondly, is sending us a final roster at least 30 days in advance of the course starting. We know at the high school level that can be really difficult to do, but it's possible. Some of our strongest partners and our best partners make all of their students that want to do CCP, make them qualify the year prior, have all their acceptance letters, and they had their rosters built really early. Student schedules change, so we know that. We know that your schedule will flux, throughout the year as you guys add or drop a course and students add or drop a course. But if you know who's taking English 1010, or you know who's going to take that psych class, if you can get us that final roster 30 days in advance of the course starting, that's the best thing to do. Obviously, making sure they've all been accepted. but we can make changes 14 days in the start of the term. So if you send us that roster early and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot we had a student transfer in, I need to add them to the course, we can do that 14 days in the course. When we move past that 14-day mark, it gets pretty sticky because that's when state funding applies. And we have a lot of work to do as far as backing out students and funding, mess around with ODEX and all that stuff. So if you're the administrative person at your school, you'll know that working at ODEX can get quite sticky once we pass a certain point in the term. But like I said, ideally, if we have that roster 30 days in advance, even if there's changes, we can make them 14 days into the term. So that's kind of it. I wanted to keep it simple today. So really it's about making sure they're accepted, finding a way to ensure they're accepted. So however that works for you, either using the status report or making students either email you or print out their acceptance letter. We've seen high schools be very successful doing any of those methods. And then thirdly, getting us those rosters early. And I forgot to mention, not only does it help with the registration process, but it also helps our bookstore to anticipate the number of textbooks needed for a section so that they can get books out to you in a timely fashion. When we don't have rosters till late, typically the bookstore didn't have a chance to pre-order the text. So sometimes it takes longer to get books. And I know that there's been people that have been in that situation and it's not good. We hate it. I know you hate it. And most of all, it's not good for the students when they don't have the materials they need early. So if you have questions, you can put them in the chat. Our College Credit Plus coordinators are on deck to sort of answer for you. I'm here. Or if you have something you want to talk about offline, you have somebody at your high school that wants to get the student status report, they can email me. It's heidi.nicholas@tric.edu. So at this point, I'm going to stop recording. And like I said, if anybody has any questions, you can give them to me at this time.